Hello, my name is Dave March. This is the Spyguy channel, and I'm doing my usual roundtable with a Warhound actual. On every Friday, we try to get together for about 2 hours and talk about what's been going on in the news today and this week. And of course, today, a lot of people are doom and gloomy because of a Supreme Court decision that didn't go exactly the way we on the right would like. We did definitely have a couple people in the chat, but they might have stepped away for a second, but hopefully they'll be back.
So here's the thing is actually this is the way we wanted it to go. Because here's the thing is the emergency powers that Trump was using. We want to get rid of those emergency powers.
Right.
We want to defang a lot of the emergency powers that came out of the past 30 years and completely just get rid of them anyways. So the Supreme Court ruling against him based on the emergency powers is actually a good thing. But then you look at the situation that's currently going on with his new orders and it's like, oh wait, I'm going to use congressional law to put these tariffs into place. And oh, by the way, I'm going to put a global 10% tariff. Now, me personally, if I had been him, I would have been like, oh, I'm gonna put a 5% tariff. You see, here's the thing: is that the 10% mark? I understand why he's doing it. It's because once you hit 7%, it's 7.5% to 8%, somewhere in that region. A lot of economies around the world cannot fucking sustain it. Period. In a story. And so 10% is just the absolute, just putting the screws to motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have identified across the board is that, like, for example, in the case of China had to completely retool their financial system in order to compensate for it. They had to make sure that the producers had the money available to pay the tariffs. They had to make sure that the banks had the liquidity in order. And what it did is it brought a shit ton of Chinese money back into China, and they weren't being able to send that money out freely. And so we've identified that. And then we're also seeing the Europeans. Now the Europeans are trying to make deals in euros. They can't fucking do it. And so they've had to lean on the pound even harder in order to make transactions. Well, the problem is that the British are like, this euro shit is fucking garbage. And now the British are sitting there, they're suffering because of having to run transactions in pounds versus the euro. And now there's other stuff to do with the bond markets and so on and so forth in the background as well. But that's like the surface level shit that you will, like, if you just look at it and you're like, oh fuck, like currency markets are fucking hating this. But another thing is that, beyond those two things, it's also an understanding, again, just to rehash it again, because I've had to rehash it 100 fucking times at this point in time. Tariffs are not paid on the retail price. They're paid on the production price of the good. So if your good takes you $1 to produce and you sell it for $5, you're paying the tariff, the 10% tariff, let's just use that number for a nice round number. You're paying that 10% on the $1. You're not paying it on the retail side. So anybody who claims that the prices of things are increased via tariffs is either lying, obfuscating, or they're running cover. Like, for example, Target. We see you, Target. We know what you do.
Yeah.
They're running cover for themselves because they realize, like, hey, we can use this to jack prices up, 10, 15, 20% at least. And then, still bring in all the good that we, normally would, but then also we're bringing a little extra on the top. It's very mafioso. It's very, very mafioso.
Yeah. Getting back to the original point of, like, the Supreme Court decision, by doing it through this way, by the emergency, getting rid of the emergency power, but also it just meant all these, because he didn't use any other tariff techniques that he did have options with, he wasted a year's worth of time that the people will not have going into the midterms.
Oh, absolutely. It's even beyond that, to be completely frank, because not only did he destroyed emergency powers that the Democrats could potentially use in the future.
Yeah.
He wasted a shit ton of their their legal time, because this was a case where, you know, they had a bunch of resources dedicated to it that they otherwise didn't have dedicated anywhere else.
Right.
So, you know, you have that. And then there's a third aspect to it. And it's the fact that we don't have to give the money back.
Yeah.
The idea that we have to give the money back is a narrative that the Democrats and the Europeans and the establishment Republicans have played up as an attempt to, you know, convince everybody that, oh, we're evil for doing this. Well, okay, why were you doing it to us then, you motherfuckers?
Yeah. Like I was telling people on my group chat this morning, I was like, look, Canada has tons of tariffs on American goods. So all this NAFTA stuff is really a lot of garbage. And we also have internal tariffs in Canada that Mark Carney supposedly been trying to get rid of, to no result.
Well, yeah, of course, because that's part of the scheme. You know, it's like, you know, when I explain people rehypothecation of debt when it comes to the bond market, and they're just like, wait, so they take our bonds, put them here, and then take those bonds, put them there, put it, you know, back and forth. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how the fuck is that legal? You know, that normal people have asked me that question. How the fuck is it legal? And I'm like, is it legal? Is it not legal? Who knows? Who cares? When it comes to the derivatives market, everything's fake anyways.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that they fucking hate about tariffs, because tariffs are real. Tariffs are actual substantive fees that the derivatives market has to pay. And all of a sudden, the derivatives market doesn't like paying those fucking fees because, oh, by the way, there's nothing backing the derivatives market. And that's especially true in the case of Canada, because the only real thing in Canada is the Albertan oil, the Saskatchewan grain, and the fucking ores coming out of British Columbia.
We also, there's other stuff, but it's
you get what I mean. You get what I mean. You get what I mean, though. The derivatives market cannot compete with real.
Yeah.
It's fake and gay and retarded.
Yeah.
Now, frankly speaking, you know, the overall response to this, like, I haven't bothered looking on Twitter to see what the overall response is. I really don't give a shit, frankly speaking, because as soon as Trump made the statement he did, and I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna clap back like a motherfucker, and he did just that. And a 10% global tariff, just saying, fuck you, screw you, my tariffs are staying in place, and oh, by the way, we're gonna keep draining all of you motherfuckers. And, you know, what are the Dems and the establishment Republicans going to do? You know, Thomas Massey is going to go up and he's going to, you know, flout this big victory from the court and yada, yada, yada. And I'm going to say this right now. I have an opinion about the situation regarding the court decision. I think Barrett and Gorsuch were told to side with the other side. I think they were told. I don't think that they were legitimately, because I read their parts. I read the what's the term? It's the
amicus briefs or whatever the
amicus brief. I read it, and it very much read as if it's like, this is we are literally not wanting to fucking take up this case.
Yeah.
It very much read that way. And then the dissension from Thomas and Alito and all them, it literally read of like, yeah, you know, no, this is all good. It's fine. Whatever. We don't give a fuck. It's like the way it just read, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, most of my feed is a Twitter feed is people freaking out over Iran.
Oh yeah, of course. But you know, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I think we're going to see, I don't know how he's going to do it, but it's going to be another Maduro-like op. a whole bunch of noise and signaling of like movement of material in, but really they're not going to have it's they have to defang the IRGC, but I think they're trying to negotiate a deal with the civilian government to have the army take out the IRGC. I think that's
Oh yeah, no, I've had plenty of Israelis that have pushed back on me with this concept, but I've always maintained the position since 20 when shit popped off in 2023. I have maintained the position there's a bifurcation in Iran. Period. End of fucking story. And I've always been told, no, you're wrong. You know, there's going to be this great Baluchistani uprising. There's going to be this great Kurdistani uprising. There's going to be all these things and yada yada and all this fantastical bullshit. Mm-hmm. And then as time has gone on, I've been proven more and more correct across the fucking board when it comes to it. I have sat and I've watched how the IRGC is constantly being targeted. You know, when these assassinations by you know, quote unquote protesters, mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've seen the videos. Those don't look like random assassinations by protesters.
Yeah.
Those look like actual fucking hits.
Yeah. Damn straight.
And when you have that kind of coordination, now it took me a while to figure out who was coordinating it, but then I realized very quickly, oh no, it's like the protests are coordinated by the Europeans.
Yeah.
And then the hits are being coordinated by us.
Mm.
And then I realized, like, oh shit, we're fighting a war beside the Europeans, and we're trying to see who can get to the finish line first.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
there's not enough Kurds or Baluchis to overthrow the central government. That's why they're in Balochistan and Kurdistan. It's just like,
well, okay, so I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't give a damn what the Israelis have to say at this point in time. I think what that was, the Baluchistani and the Kurdistani bullshit, I think what that was to try to spur some action from the Europeans. Because what I think is going on in Israel is that we are seeing the final phases of the breakdown between the US and Europeans' control over Israel. And one of the things that I've noticed is how absolutely paralyzed the Knesset is. The Knesset is so paralyzed on so many things, but the hardliners, who are very obviously aligned with the fucking Europeans, they can't get any forward movement, which tells me the regular people of Israel are completely opposed to the bullshit.
Yeah.
So you know, Tom Luongo, he made the comment, you know, I saw what I saw, you know, it was a draw, it was a tie and a lot of injuries. And I think that is exactly what fucking happened, to the point that now you watch Netanyahu fucking scramble to get over here to the US to try to force something in regards to the protests. We don't do jack shit. We let the protesters fucking get bushwhacked across the fucking board. Mind you, the IRGC was the one doing the bushwhacking, not the military.
Yeah.
The military has been locked, you know, quote unquote, locked down at barracks the entire time. Meaning that at the end of the day, the people are going to look at the military and be like, can you fucking do something about this? And they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to. It's just a case of, we can't do it right now. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have a bunch of fucking dudes with panoramic fucking night vision rolling up into a few places and just fucking wasting people. I think I am convinced at this point in time, we're going to have a replay of Caracas in Tehran. And motherfuckers are not prepared for it, by the way. Look, I do not think, because, like, for example, I was just watching an episode of a channel called Warfronts, if you know who they are.
There are a lot of channels out there.
Yeah, well, they're a very European centric, very, very Eurocentric channel. And I watch them specifically to see what the narrative coming out of Europe is.
Oh yes, I've definitely seen a couple of their videos, because there was one. I'm not a big fan of them. That's why I don't really watch. Oh no,
them. I watch them because I want to know what the European mind is thinking. Yeah. Because here's the point, is that they're based in the Czech Republic.
Oh.
They're based in the Czech Republic, so they're insulated away from all the rules and regulations in a way that allows them to operate in a more free manner, and so people trust them. But it's like I want them to continue thinking in that manner, so they keep reporting in that manner. Like, for example, it's very clear, like, oh, this guy is going to peddle every goddamn European narrative when it comes to Russia or China or whatever.
Yep.
But then as soon as it comes to operations that we know are European backed, like the protests in Iran, oh yeah, no, he immediately starts peddling the line, and it's like, okay, cool. I know who you are. I know who you work for. Congratulations. Get fucked, nerd. As a baby starts bitching in the background. But no, the simple fact is that across the board, I'm seeing the breakdown, and I'm like, oh my God, are we actually, because I think what's going to end up happening is that we are going to pull the Caracas 2.0, and then all of a sudden,
already pulling the Caracas 2.0.
Yeah, true. I trust me. I'm seeing the shit that's happening, and I'm pretty sure that we've already had guys in country operating in the background.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we turn to Israel and we say, we'll be taking your nukes now. And if they don't want to give up the nukes, it's like, okay, then is it what's the name of their nuclear facility? Doha?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Doha. Yeah, then Doha gets to die today. Because here's the thing is, where's the best place to build your bunkers to store your nuclear weapons? Right below a fucking nuclear power plant.
Right.
Well, what happens if we decide, okay, fine, you don't want to give them up? That's cool. We'll blow the fucking plant. Israel becomes a fucking irradiated wasteland real fucking quick.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure we'd do that, but yeah.
Oh, using it as a threat,
No, yeah, definitely use it as a threat.
Because here's the point: is if all of a sudden we start dropping bombs next to it, then the Israelis are going to be sitting there like, oh shit, they're not fucking kidding. Mm-hmm. No, I have had the position, and I firmly believe that the U.S. is going to force Israel to give up any nuclear weapons that it has, and all of a sudden the Samson doctrine gets to go bye-bye because, fuck you. You don't get to, the Iranians don't get to hold this shit over your head. You don't get to hold this shit over their head.
Yeah. Or your head, America's head. That was the big threat in Yom Kippur War, was that suddenly they revealed to Nixon all the prepping all their fighters to deliver nuclear weapons, and Nixon's like, oh shit, I have to give them what they want.
Well, again, the Jewsburgs in the world are gonna be like, oh my God, we just bend over backwards to appease Israel, and it's like, yeah, well, guess what? I don't think Trump is going to be appeasing Israel anytime soon, especially with how you see how he's acting towards Chuck Grassley.
Yeah,
the evangelicals' hardest hit.
Yeah, no, the evangelical movement is dying off. I think that was one of the problems with what Charlie Kirk kind of realized. He was bringing out this religious revival amongst young people and telling them to read the Bible, and then he would be going to his events, and these young people would be coming up. The Bible doesn't say what you're telling me it says.
Oh yeah, well, so we actually had a conversation the other day in my Discord because one of our guys, he's one of these, pseudo pagan types because, he's like, oh, the dispensationalists and the Presbyterians and all this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, so you're talking about cults? You mean cult groups that, like the Quakers? I love to use the Quakers as an example because the Quakers moderated so heavily going into the late 18th century that it actually, that is what led to them taking the political power away from the Puritans, because the Puritans had the majority political power going into the mid 18th century, and then all of a sudden there's a massive reversal, politically speaking, where a bunch of fucking Quakers take over. Like the majority We're talking like 90% of the founding fathers were all fucking Quakers. And it's like, oh, what fucking happened there? Well, it was because people were sick and tired of dealing with these fucking New England pieces of shit that tell them that they're terrible people. You know, Ben Franklin, for example, you know, I've read up on some of the stories regarding him and his interaction with the Puritan types, where they basically give him shit because he's a womanizing, quote unquote, womanizing piece of shit. And he's like, yes, I am in fact a womanizing piece of shit. Also, I lay pipes so fucking well, they come fucking jump in my bed out of willingness, motherfucker. So guess what? Get bent. You're shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's the point, though, is at the end of the day, it's like the dispensationalist types are fucking floundering across the board. And this is why we've seen this massive revival of Catholicism in the United States, where all of a sudden it's like, if somebody had told me 30% of the fucking population of the United States was going to identify as Catholic fucking 10 years ago, I would have told them they were retarded. Now I'm sitting here and I've got to sift through all the dudes that are actual fucking Catholics versus the dispensationalists that are fucking pretending.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to fucking, they're trying to grift. But, you know, at the end of the fucking day, it's like, oh shit, like there is a fucking Catholic, there's a Catholic revival occurring in the United States in a way that nowhere in the fucking world has seen this kind of shit. Fucking even Italy isn't even close to seeing the revival of the Catholic faith the way we are here.
Yeah.
Now, you know, there's a few extra little things to do there. You know, the Hispanic population or the Spaniards. I hate. Well, okay, Hispanic works because Hispania.
Yeah.
But it's like every time I hear the term Latino, I want to fucking punch somebody in the face because it's like, no, he's a fucking Spaniard. And the first time I said that to a guy, by the way, when I because I was in a conversation, you know, in real life, the Spaniard in question looked at me and had this look of, did he just give me a Spanish card? Did he just give me the Spanish card? Yeah. Like he was stunned by it. And then me and him got to talking later afterwards, and he was like, why did you refer to me as a Spaniard? And I'm like, motherfucker, you're a Spaniard.
Yeah.
First off, you're way too fucking white to be mixed blood.
Yeah.
You're way too fucking white. And then second, you're motherfucker, like even if you were mixed blood, most of you are just straight up Spanish.
Yeah.
So why am I going to take that away from you? Why would I do what the Democrats love to do and call you a Latino?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like the dude's sitting there, like he contemplated that for a few days and fucking got back to me. He's like, yeah, no, I'm fuck this. I'm identifying as Spanish from now on. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like whenever people say that, I'm like, guys, the Spanish are like the whitest people on earth. Come on. Now I get the idea about
don't get me fucking
because of, you know, they did a lot of more mixed race mixing down in South America than we did in North America, but
dude, I okay, so it's actually really funny because there's this chick on Twitter, Lolita.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute cutie. Fucking love her to death. She has a mouth on her. I would absolutely fucking hate being with her just from the perspective of it's like, okay, you know what, woman? Let me go fucking work. Let me get my shit done. Let me handle my fucking business. Let me fucking just get shit done. Stop fucking pestering me. But at the same time, you look at her and you'd think she's a fucking white girl. If she was taking pictures in the middle of the US or in the middle of fucking France or in the middle of fucking goddamn Britain or Sweden or whatever the fuck, you'd think she's a straight up white girl. Oh, by the way, most Spanish people are fucking white as shit.
Oh yeah.
Have you never seen the depictions of Visigoths, motherfuckers?
Yeah.
The Umayyads weren't there that long, frankly speaking. Anyways, but no, it's again, we're seeing this revival that is occurring, and it's actually quite hilarious for me personally speaking, because I have been watching a few things because I've always told people, like, I'm what I refer to as an eternal pilgrim. I'm always learning, always studying, always questioning shit, just doing my whole thing. I've never claimed, like I will jokingly refer to myself as a bad Baptist because I love gambling and I love drinking.
Yeah.
If fucking Texas Hold'em is my game. And it's like, no, like I don't see people like I saw the breakdown of the Southern Baptist convention a couple years ago. I saw that shit break down in real time with how bad shit was. And there are so many people that have left the Baptist church completely.
Yeah.
It's like, and most of those motherfuckers, they converted to Catholicism. Like that should tell you something. When the Protestants say fuck it and turn into Catholics, that should tell you something.
Yeah. I'm low Anglican, and we do not have the closest we ever got to like any kind of politics in our messaging from our priest was one time he said, let us pray for the people of Minnesota. That was the most political he's ever gotten. And he's from communist Cuba. He's pretty left.
Yeah. But no, the simple fact is that, you know, the situation is turning in the United States in a way that most people just can't. Everything has been so bad for so long that people can't wrap their heads around when we are all of a sudden winning and all of a sudden doing well.
Yeah.
They can't wrap their heads around it. One of the key things, for example, is the chip manufacturing. Me and my guys had this big conversation. I don't. You are in Tom's Slack server. Did you see the conversation that got started up in his Slack server when we were talking about like RAM prices and so on and so forth?
No, I don't usually pay much attention to the server much other than funny Sith.
All good. So one of the guys, he posts a invoice from a friend of his who his company was ordering a server, and he's like, oh, this server would cost like $15,000-$20,000, and the cost was $53,000. And so then I went and I said, okay, let's go look. I looked up the server. The server in question is one of the newest servers that Dell has put out in fucking forever.
Okay. It's
DDR5, 126 cores, and it can mount, I believe, it's got how many fucking RAM slots? It's got an atrocious number of RAM slots. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's got an atrocious number of them. And it's like, okay, so if you're buying DDR5, which there's this massive choke point in the production chain for DDR5 RAM. If you're going to buy DDR5 RAM and you're going to have this brand new fucking hulking server, yeah, you're going to fucking pay for it. Because one of the things that, you know, me and Will, that's one ick in chat there. One of the things that we discussed is 2013. A lot of people apparently don't fucking remember this shit. When DDR4 first came onto the scene as the new standard, a lot of companies were talking about doing all this expansion. Well, then most of the companies didn't do the expansion. Most of the companies completely reneged on expanding. Western Digital was one of the worst of them. They were basically planning on doubling their overall production, and then they never fucking did it. They officially canceled the plans in 2015. And now, you know, everybody's bitching because Western Digital has this massive bottleneck where now, you know, on a quote unquote officially, they've sold all their HDDs for 2026. And it's like, yeah, that's going to happen when all of a sudden you don't have the fucking production. Well, you know, by the way, you know, I went looking at a few things and I'm sitting there and I'm laughing because I'm finding shit for my computer at reasonable prices, like across the board. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, no, you're all idiots because you upgraded to DDR5. I'll stick with DDR4 for the time being. I'm still getting good performance out of it. I don't give a shit. But the one of the key things is that you look at Ohio Intel 1, which Intel is talking about potentially putting three campuses in Ohio, which by, you know, in the case of Will there, that campus was Ohio Intel 1 was supposed to go in Michigan, and then Michigan protested it. And Ohio said, "Oh, we'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll take that." Ohio Intel 1, 3 fabs. The other 2 campuses potentially happening. There hasn't been any hard confirmation on it, but those could potentially have 3 fabs themselves. So 9 fabs total just in the state of Ohio.
Yep.
Hello, that's a shit ton of production.
Right.
And that's not even taking into account the 3 campuses that are being built in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Which then it's like, oh, wait, this is mind you, a lot of people, Stoner there, he asked me, the other night, like, why did we ever get rid of our chip production? We never fucking had chip production.
Yeah.
We only had it for the military. It was a very, very small portion of our overall industrial base. We, like the majority of the world, relied on Taiwan because Taiwan set themselves up to be the chip manufacturer of the world.
Right.
Well, now it's like, Taiwan, you don't want to fucking play ball. Well, fine. We'll build our new shit here and then take a shit ton of your market cap away and force you to negotiate.
Yeah.
Get fucked. And then and again, everybody's sitting there, hooting and raving about how bad things are. And I'm like, motherfuckers, you don't realize how good things are right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was telling some of my people yesterday that on their group chat. I was like, look, you just got straight from drawing board to the 4th of July, 18 months, 4 nuclear reactors are coming online. Like, holy crap, 18 months from the design. Well, I'm pretty sure they were pre-designed, but from production started in January last year, and now they're going to be online in time for the 4th of July.
Yep.
Like, that's insane.
Yep. And not just even that, but we're already sitting at was it 7 or 8 refineries approved? There's like 2 or 3 refineries still going through the approval process. And they've already broke ground on 3 or 4 of those refineries. It's like, motherfuckers, like, you don't realize that shit is good. It's just, it's going to take a little bit of time for everything to come online.
Right.
This is the transition process. And the fact that the transition process is this smooth is fucking insane.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that just popped in my head. Everybody keeps railing, but what about grocery prices? What increases in grocery prices are you talking? Are you talking about the beef prices? Oh, you mean the beef prices that were artificially inflated because the Biden admin or the Biden USDA ordered the culling of something like 10% of the fucking herd?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, when they called that the herd back in 2023, it takes 5 to 6. It's 5 to 6 years before we see that recovery. Before we see the recovery from that cull.
Yeah.
It'll be another 3 or 4 years past that we actually see a surplus again.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we opened up trade with Argentina to receive some of the best fucking beef in the entire world.
Right.
Something that nobody would have been willing to do previously because of how much of a shit show Argentina was.
Right.
Oh, wait, we fixed Argentina.
Yeah.
We gave them a temporary fucking loan that, oh, wait, they already paid back, was it 25% of the loan in question? They've already paid that back. It's like, excuse me, do you people not realize how good things really are?
Yeah.
But of course, the majority of the people that have the loudest voices are on the coastlines where shit's rapidly increasing in expense because, you have California, for example, shutting down 3 fucking refineries and fucking Valero. Like I was stunned by Valero's move.
Yeah. Like
the fact that they literally just fucking dropped their dicks on the fucking table and said, we don't care, fuck you, here's your fucking $1 billion, go fuck yourself. We're already working on getting a new refinery opened up on the coast.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, we don't want anything to do with your fucking state.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy shit. Like, because when Tom and I forget his last name all the time, the Mike guy who used to work for Valero, you've seen those episodes. When they did that episode, I thought Tom was on the money, and maybe he is still on the money. I don't know. We'll see what happens over the course of this year. But I was convinced that he might be on the money with that, where, National Defense Production Act, Trump's been willing to fucking use it quite a bit.
Yep.
And the fact that, Valero just said, fuck you, we're done with this fucking piece of shit. It's like, Trump might have to force Valero back into California.
Yeah.
At least partially.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. I just wasn't. It was a shock. It was like, oh, damn. Because again, you look at the number of companies that have fled, previously fled New York, are now fleeing New York.
Yep.
And New York is talking about fucking putting, massive exit taxes on them, or putting basically a 100% exit tax to force them to just stay.
Yeah.
Mamdani's floating that shit.
Yeah, I understand they are floating that kind of crap, but it's not going to work because people will they'll take the loss and run. Like,
well, actually, so I was talking to a CPA buddy of mine. There's actually a way to get around it.
Mm-hmm.
If the corporations are offloaded into a holding trust.
Oh yeah,
it has to be irrevocable. So once it's put in that trust, it's fucking in that trust permanently. Period in your story. Mm-hmm. But if it's put into the proper trust, and I forget what the trust is called off the top of my head, or what the type of trust is, but if it's put into a trust, they can just move the asset out of anybody's ownership and just move it to wherever they set the trust up. And then at that point in time, it's like, oh, fuck your exit tax. This is the great thing about the United States, is that we do have these loopholes for companies to be able to get the fuck out of Dodge from stupid policies.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, well, there you go.
It's like we've experienced this somehow before.
Yeah. It's almost like, but yeah, it's the message I would love to give to people just overall is, do not be convinced that shit is just bad. Mm-hmm. Be willing to acknowledge the good. Yeah. And if you're unwilling to do that, then you're just hurting yourself. The rest of us are just going to keep working. The rest of us are just going to keep benefiting.
And the polls are out showing Trump is back up over 49%. Thankfully. So
now, Remember, this is the guy that's been bombarded by fake polling for so long that nobody knows what a good poll is anyways.
I have good ideas on some of the good polling firms. There's like 3 or 4 of them that are good, and then the rest are bad.
You mean Rasmussen?
Rasmussen, People's Pundit, Trafalgar, and I can't remember the 4th one. But those 4 tend to be the ones I can go to if I want to get a decent one.
Oh, I don't trust Rasmussen or People's Pundit whatsoever anymore.
Yeah. I
don't trust them. Because after how Mark Mitchell and fucking Richard Barris fucking crashed out like they did, and I'm like, no, fuck you. I don't give a shit. Your numbers don't mean jack shit to me, fuck boy. I apologize if I'm too vulgar, but at the same time,
you're allowed to have your opinion, and I can.
The level of fucks given at this point in time are 0, and I've gotten to the point where it's like I can't go into half the spaces that I would normally go into anymore because I've like, you know what, cut loose, don't give a shit, fuck you.
I kind of gave up on spaces for the most part. They're just kind of echo chambers after a while.
Oh yeah, that definitely, yeah. Well, it is Twitter, so
yeah.
Everybody has their own little echo chamber that they curate and everything, which is why we ended up with Blue Sky, because we broke open the lefty echo chamber and they didn't like it.
Yeah,
they're like, oh no, sunlight.
Before Elon Musk bought it, it was like the second most democratic district in America was the equivalent of Twitter.
Okay, that's actually a funny way to look at that.
Mhm.
That's a funny way to look at it. But yeah, no, it's again. I mean, like me personally, I'll use my personal anecdote. Sorry.
Mhm.
I have sat and I uh after my daughter was born,
Mhm.
redid my withholding, redid all my stuff, got myself situated and realized very quickly, like, oh shit, like people might not fucking realize how fucking good we have it under the new rules. Because like I tend, we work at a razor thin labor level at my job.
Mhm.
And so like I've worked a metric fuck ton of overtime this past month.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting and I'm seeing my taxes being pulled out of my check, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Okay, we can work with that.
Yeah.
We can work with that.
Yeah.
And then I've already done the calculations on the other side, and I realize like I'm still going to be getting a decent enough return at the end of the year. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we like that. We
Yeah.
like that a lot. So it's simply put, like at the end of the day, I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, nothing really bad is happening. And then you see the products that are coming. Like I love this one guy. What's the guy's name again? Or what's the company's name again? I should say. Pure Steel Co. This is it was founded by a guy who used to work for Tesla or SpaceX, one of the two.
Okay.
And it is literally the dude wanted to create a coffee maker that didn't have any plastic in it. That's all he wanted to do.
Yep.
It's $80 for a full steel coffee maker.
Okay.
It's just a regular coffee maker. But here's the point. I'm willing to buy that just from the perspective of this thing is never going to fucking break.
Oh yeah.
It's never going to degrade. I'm never going to have to replace it simply because, the plastic parts start, changing the taste of the coffee because, they just degrade so much over time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to be able to fucking stick this thing on my counter, press a button and not give a fuck.
Yep.
And we're seeing a return of these simple, good products that it's like, hey, it might not be the $20 coffee maker you can get from fucking Walmart, but at the same time, it's like, am I going to have this coffee maker for the next 20 years?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe. And you also don't have to worry about microplastics.
Yeah, well, yeah. But we're seeing the return to that.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Tesla is talking about opening up, the battery facility that they want to open up. Well, I've heard through the grapevine that battery facility might be looking to produce sodium ion batteries.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wait, by the way, the pilot program, I don't think the official pilot program is over yet in Iowa, but there's a town out in Iowa that did a pilot program for the for a sodium ion battery system for their grid.
Yep.
And it outperformed in all metrics.
Okay, good.
It
I definitely
outperformed
wanted to get
across
away
the
from
board.
lithium ion.
Well, that's the point, is that it's like, oh, if they can miniaturize the sodium ion system and make it so we can start putting sodium ion batteries in our phones and our cars and our, this, that, and the other, it's like, these are cheap as fuck to make.
Yep.
These are incredibly robust, especially in the northern climates, because they can operate at -30.
Okay, that's good.
It's like I live in Ohio, dude. Like it was continuously getting into the sub-zero temperatures this past winter.
Yep.
Like I need something like that. And the fact that, again, what I've heard through the grapevine in regards to that pilot program is that, again, the battery system fucking outperformed all metrics. And it's like, oh shit. Okay, cool. And it's different. Like there's so many different things going on. And again, somebody like me who has the time, my job, I just have metric tons of time to just sit and research and watch shit and just take in all this information. Mm-hmm. it's easy for me to fucking see that. And, I understand that there's a bunch of dudes like, mechanics and whatnot who don't have the time to sit because they're working with their fucking hands.
Yep.
It's like, okay, I understand why those guys are, not taking in the information because they don't have the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm starting to notice a bunch of kids who are like, hey, things are actually not nearly as bad as we thought they were.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, the people who are taking in the information, who are actually seeing the information, they're realizing the difference. The people who are not seeing it and not realizing it are the people that are too fucking busy. So that's one of the things for me personally is like, I want to talk directly to those guys. I love being able to catch those guys and have a conversation with them. Like, for example, my truck drivers at my job.
Yep.
I talk to them. I give them tidbits and they're like, that's fucking awesome.
Yep.
So, yeah. Sorry, kind of got off on the weeds there for a little bit.
No, that's no problem. No, this is all good information. And this is kind of the thing we do want to talk about is that the fact that things are getting better for people out there in the real world. And they're not getting that information because doom and gloom sells.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, again, going back to Iran for a second, like they're desperately trying to get us to get to a ground war in Iran. And it's like, we're not going to ground in Iran.
Yeah.
It's not fucking happening.
Yeah.
Why? Why would we bother? We are running a containment strategy on them so well, it's unfucking real.
Right.
Like we hit Fordow, and all of a sudden they're sitting there like, fuck. All right, how do we handle this situation?
Yeah, and they're also making arrangements with Russia and China. They've signed that mutual defense pact back in January. They're bringing in the Russian Chinese stuff, but the reason they didn't do that before is because Russia and China will have demands on them that restrict their ability to do things.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to have terrorists. So you're not allowed to support Hamas here, guys. We need you to stop screwing around, but we'll give you stuff if you just have to play ball with us.
Well, look at Venezuela.
Mm.
You look at the situation in Venezuela, like it was very clear from the get-go that an arrangement between the Americans, the Russians, and the Chinese had been made.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you look at the situation currently. Like there's problems, of course, because they have to fix a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But Rodriguez is playing fucking ball.
Oh, yeah. I was watching her yesterday talking about stuff about how freeing Cuba. We free Venezuela from these people. Now we need to free the Cuban people. Something along the lines she was saying yesterday.
Which, by the way, had we not pulled off the mission in Caracas, she would not have ever fucking said.
Right.
But hey, we're just a bunch of imperialistic dirtbags that want to kill everybody. Oh no. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I fucking Glenn Greenwald and fucking Robert Barnes, Richard Barris, fucking Brian Beletic, fucking Scott over at Calibrated, all those little shitheads. Hey, get fucked, nerds. Mm-hmm. You fucking miscalled it at every fucking turn, and now you're fucking eating your goddamn fucking shoes.
Yeah.
But, again, being the optimist means that you have skin in the game. Being the contrarian and being the cynic means that you don't have skin in the game. Well,
right.
Fuck you. I'm an American, motherfuckers. You're just a bunch of weasels that fled the country. Mm. Which, by the way, in the terms of Glenn Greenwald and Brian Beletic, it's like, yeah, you fled the fucking country. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't care about your opinions. Mm-hmm. Your opinions are zero and zilch. The only reason why, in the case of fucking Brian Beletic, the only reason why I fucking watched him was to be able to compare information that he was putting out versus a bunch of the other people that were putting out information in regards to Ukraine. That was the only reason why I fucking watched the guy. I thought he was fucking insufferable 90% of the time.
Yeah, but I met the guy on Zoom a few times on Gonzalo Lira's channel. So Yeah, he could be a little interesting in that regard. But he's a
Yeah.
very doom and gloomy guy. Like
Yeah.
I was like suggesting that the Russians would do big tank offenses, and he's like, "No, it's just going to be attrition war, Dave." I'm like, but it would be so cool to watch a deep.
And yet if you actually look at the on the ground progress, it's like, oh, as soon as it was attrition for 2 years, and then the Russians started making these massive fucking pushes into these areas and fucking taking territory, no problem.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, it's almost like a combination of tactics is warranted when it comes to warfare. Maybe the former Marine can fucking learn some shit. Oh, I'm guessing he never went to a leadership course.
No.
Yeah, by the way, that is the funniest part, is that, being friends with a few officers, because I being from a military family, we have quite a few officers that linger around, from family, friends, and whatnot. Yeah, no, like some of their comments that they've made in regards to Ukraine have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Because they're like, wow, the Russians the Russians fucking know how to do this shit.
Yep.
Like that's been the consensus almost across the board. They're like, holy shit, the Russians actually know how to fight wars. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
They're like, holy shit. Like one of them, freshly minted second lieutenant at the beginning of the war. Or second lieutenant. Did I say second or first? I'm sorry. Freshly minted second lieutenant at the beginning of the war. And then now he's sitting, after having gone through the company and gone through all the process of actually learning how to be an infantry leader, because he is an infantry officer.
Right.
His perspective changed so radically. Like, he went from being very bombastic and very, very condescending towards the Russians to now he's like, yeah, so we're trying to figure out this. We need to figure this out. We need to do that. We need to do this. He's just total different change in attitude. And it's healthy for the military, because it's like, oh, now you're actually having to question yourselves. You can't just be like, oh, we're the biggest and the baddest. It's great.
It's very. I have disagreements with this guy last night, but we get along fine. And he's like, oh, yeah, the United States and NATO got in there. We kicked the Russians out, but we don't, because they have nuclear weapons. I'm like, you will not do very well. I do not think this will work as well as you think it is. You haven't done a forager exercise since the 1990s. You've been doing nothing but all this small, petty shit, low intensity shit. And I think you'll end up like the French against the Prussians back in the 1870s, where everyone thought the French were the best army because they were fought in Mexico, and they fought in North Africa, and they had fought on all these guerrilla wars. But when it came down to a big fight in Europe, the Prussians just chopped them to pieces at Sedan.
Well, actually, I can. So I was actually, me and the guys had a conversation. It was either last night or the night before. One of the things I pointed out, because Stoner, he is incredibly cynical about stuff, and it's because he grew up in the worst of it. And so, I understand his perspective. I absolutely do. That's why I don't dog on him too hard. I don't try to be a dick about it. But one of the things is that, when it comes to the hostilities here in the States, he's like this, and this. I'm like, what you have to understand is that insurgency warfare, fourth generation warfare, as we call it, relies on you not applying maximum pressure. If you apply maximum kinetic pressure to an insurgency, it will fall apart very quickly.
Yeah.
We saw that in fucking Iraq and Syria and a few other places, where when we applied maximum pressure, ISIS fell apart so goddamn hard and so quickly, it was unfucking real.
Right.
As soon as we were actually just bombing the utter living shit out of them, shit went real bad for the insurgency.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing happened in Vietnam. And this is actually the fun part. You brought up Vietnam earlier, and I had to bring up this case. A lot of people have this idea like, oh, a lot of the contrarians, oh, the U.S. lost Vietnam. No, we fucking didn't. The politicians lost Vietnam. The military fucking performed in ways that would not have been expected for a military of that era. in such a way that now we realize it's like, holy shit, had we just turned the military loose, let them go for 2 years, they would have secured Vietnam, no problem.
Yep. No.
But it was the politicians back home that were holding shit back and, just putting a muzzle on everything. That was one of the key issues. Like, I'll use one particular operation. I don't remember what the operation was called off the top of my head, but it was when we were hunting North Vietnam's MiG-21s. And we said, fuck it, ground everything. And we're going to fake these motherfuckers out and convince them that there's this bombing run that's going north. But instead of finding bombers, they're going to find a bunch of F4s ready to kill them.
Yeah.
And what happened? The fucking NVA came out, or the NVA AF came out, and all of a sudden they lose a shit ton of their MiG-21s.
Yep.
Because they were expecting this and they got this. Mm-hmm. And again, it's, you apply maximum pressure, shit happens. You don't apply maximum pressure, that's when you get Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah. What is it? Westmoreland's plan to cut the trail. I was reading a book, and it was like this Western reporter was asking a Viet Cong colonel and saying, like, we could never beat you. And he's like, what are you talking about? Of course we could have beaten us. Westmoreland had the plan. He was going to cut the tail or supply line in half. We would have been fucked.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, at the end of the day, again, maximum pressure. That's how you beat fourth generation warfare. That's why this whole idea, the Baltic states are going to go into this fourth generation mindset, and they're just going to create a bunch of. I'm like, motherfuckers, do you not realize the Russians are specialists at fucking taking out fourth generation warfare?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but Afghanistan.
Yep. Well, not just Afghanistan. Prigozhin. Remember Prigozhin's little weird ride to Moscow? And I was in a room with a whole bunch of like national military industrial complex guys when that was going on. And they're like, yeah, this is so great. This is so great. And I'm like, he's got a brigade. Moscow is a city of 15 million people. The Moscow police force can defeat him. So what's his plan? What's your plan? And then like asking those questions. And then what happens? Putin deploys which particular army group division to stop Prigozhin's plan? What forces did he put in front of them? The Chechens, the ones that he had Chechens. Like a 10-year civil insurgency with that they finally defeated, and then got the people they were fighting to join and become their most loyal troops, the guys that they used to put down the mutiny.
Well, I'm going to point this out. So I actually got some word on what happened on the ground in particular with that. When the Wagner guys that sided with Prigozhin heard that the Chechens were the ones blocking them, that's when you remember that defection that occurred where a bunch of dudes just were like noped out of there. Yep. It was because they heard, oh, the Chechens are up front, and they're like, oh, you mean the guys that take trophies?
Yeah.
Fuck that. We're gone. Bye.
Yeah, like in World War II, the British sometimes just had to go to the Italians and say, we got Gurkhas, and the Italians would surrender.
Yeah, seriously. It's again, you have those forces, here in the US, it's like, we have Japanese. We have the Japanese. That's all we got to say to people. We have the Japanese. We will turn them loose.
Yeah. I have a great tale that my used to write for these history magazines, and my father had a gift subscription from whenever I did it. And his favorite story, and I agree with him, is that there's this British patrol in Burma, and they're on their way in, and they say, oh shit, the Japanese are on the other side or camped over there. It's going to be a really tough fight. Those guys never surrender. The only time we can take them alive is like if they get knocked unconscious. And then so they lay their defenses down, they set up camp, and in the middle of the night, the Japanese camp explodes in gunfire and screaming and hell brought loose, and the next day the survivors of the Japanese camp surrendered to the British. Turns out the Japanese had set up their camp in the middle of the crocodile territory.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Mhm.
But again, the simple fact is that, you know, when it comes to all of this shit, like, again, nobody truly understands shit until they actually take the time to fucking study it.
Mhm.
Of course. And one of the problems that we have here is that people are convinced like all this shit's going to happen, all this is going to happen, so on. So I'm like, no, it's going to happen, but it's not going to go the way that they hope it's going to go.
Yeah.
Like, you have a bunch of crazy motherfuckers like me who, you know, I'm not going to give any critical details, but the point is that it's like, hey, you know, posse comitatus has the word posse in it for a reason.
Right.
And anybody who understands that, you know, good on you.
Mhm.
Anybody who doesn't understand it, well, when I legally shoot you, be very, very prepared to get told, no, you got shot for a reason.
Yep.
So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, yay, the Dims are doing this, the Dims are doing that. Oh, by the way, we're going to counter move and we're going to do this. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're good job. Your little quote unquote win wasn't really a win after all, you dum-dums.
Yeah, that reminds me back when I was watching still CNN, when it was actually watchable. And there was this old guy in Texas, and he calls up the police saying, police dispatches saying, hey, there's some guys robbing my neighbor's house. And they're like, okay, give us your address and we'll respond. No, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. And they're like, sir, you should stay home. And then the guy goes out and shoots all of the guys robbing his neighbor's house. I'm like, don't mess around with Texas.
Well, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, interesting.
Mhm.
Again, it's literally, I have gotten to the point where it's many of the points that people try to bring up, regardless of the situation at this point in time, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, that's just my response to them. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Hope you brought airbags.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, bring a body bag, please.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to scoop you up. And then they get mad because, are you threatening me? Are you dying back there, dog? Jesus.
Yep. Well, we've been doing this show for the last couple months now. I've been thinking of trying to get Tom on.
I have been meaning to try to get some communication between me and Tom for a while now, and I have been incessantly irresponsible with keeping track of doing that.
Yeah.
So no, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Just from the perspective of it's like, I was telling this to my guys on our podcast. You know, again, we start. I at some point in time, I'll have to give you the rundown of like why our podcast exists. It's actually kind of a middle finger to another person.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because like there are a small group of people that actually watch our podcast,
Okay.
versus that person's, you know, shit show. Fucking yeah, no, it's bad. Anyways, but no, what I was telling the guys at one point in time, you know, Tom, EM, Susan Kokenda, Alex Craner, even though me and Alex, I would beat Alex upside the head and be like, stop being a black pill piece of shit all the time. You have so much good information. You have so much good fucking data. Stop being a cynic for 10 fucking minutes. Anyways, I love you, Alex. But you know, I'll use a pool noodle. Don't worry. Anyways, but no, it's like we have these new thought leaders, that are coming in, and I don't care. You know, Robert Barnes hears me fucking, you know, say something good about Tom Luongo, and he's like, and it's like, motherfucker, you should be disbarred with some of the shit you said. It should be illegal for a lawyer to act in the way you do and to say the shit you do half the time. Because at this point in time, now I'm convinced, one, I need to go look into the Amos Miller cases. Because I'm like, okay, Barnes didn't have nearly the kind of role he wants to play up he did with this.
Yeah.
Because if he did, Amos Miller would be in jail right now. That co-op would be fucking gone if he was involved with it directly, I should say. He can be involved indirectly all he wants to be, but it's like, no, like if you would actually been part of the legal team, like a firm part of the legal team, yeah, these people would be in jail.
Yeah.
Their business would be gone. I wouldn't have access to Amos Miller's goods.
Yeah.
And what I'm starting to realize is that me personally, I started to realize that the 2016 crowd is not the 2026 crowd.
Yeah.
The 2026 crowd were the people that the 2016 crowd told you were all just a bunch of grifters. And I'm like, oh no, the 2016 crowd were the fucking grifters.
Yep. That's what Tom's saying.
Hi, Jack. Hi, Candace. Hi, Steve. Hi, every other fucking little shithead. We now see you for who you are. Good job. You fucking outed yourselves. So, yeah, no, getting Tom in here would be great. Just from the perspective of, I got shit I would love to ask him and talk to him about personally, but there's just, it's literally a case of like amplifying that man's voice is tantamount to literally carrying the flag in the battle line. That's how critical it is for him to get the information and get his analysis out there as much as possible. It's actually really funny. I sent a couple of videos of Tom to my brother. So my brother, he gives me a shout on Valentine's Day. And he was wanting to ask me some questions, and then he was starting to talk to me about some job stuff. And then I pointed out some of the tax stuff that, because I redone all my paperwork and everything, and I was telling him about some of the, just how low my tax withholding actually was now that I had everything straightened out. And he is, he made a comment about the overtime only being until 2029, and I was like, well, yeah, but if we get JD Vance in there, and then once I mentioned bringing JD Vance into office, he immediately was like, nope. And I'm like, okay, bud, let's have a good row. We haven't had one of these in a while. Yeah. and it ended up turning into an argument about the whole file bullshit. And it was like, motherfucker, like, I'll fucking school you. That's fine. Because guess what? Like, one of his big sticking points that day specifically was the Peretti shooting.
Oh.
And I'm like, I work in public safety, bud. I know these laws. I know what and what not to do. Peretti, it was an unfortunate circumstance, but at the same time, like, dude had a weapon, and if he doesn't want to fucking surrender that weapon and be detained without fucking problems, he's opening himself up to be shot, period in the story.
Yep. A lot of people think that he was suicide by cop. This was his way to go.
I'd say 25%. The other 75%, and it's because of the location that the shooting happened in. If you're not aware, it was like 144 fraud-linked businesses were registered at the address that he was at.
Oh, okay.
And he had been positioned at that location for an extended amount of time. He had been ordered there by the coordinators of the protests.
Right.
So it's like, was he there to prevent ICE from raiding that building? Yeah. So... But at the same time, like, yeah, there was definitely a suicide by cop angle to it. But I don't think it was the majority of the reason. But again, and mind you, my brother, for example, he pushed back on that. He's like, what? I don't understand how you could say that. And I'm like, Terry v. Ohio. You don't have as soon as you commit a crime, which he assaulted a federal agent and then proceeded to try to obstruct the arrest of or detainment of an individual by a federal agent. That's an obstruction charge. So he's already committed one felony by assaulting a federal agent, and then technically it's a misdemeanor to commit obstruction, but since it's feds, it's a felony. So he's already committed 2 felonies. I'll say 1.5 felonies. Let's do some favor to the guy. He's already committed 1.5 felonies. He's getting arrested. Period in the story.
Yeah.
There's no stopping that. And then I had to explain to my brother, it's like, once you commit a crime per Terry v. Ohio, this is straight case law that's been adjudicated years ago. This isn't recent bullshit. This is 1990s. If I remember, it's either 80s or 90s, one of the two. It's like, no, like, you don't have a Second Amendment right once you commit a crime.
Yeah.
So if somebody fucking shoots your ass because you're refusing to comply, and then you try to produce a weapon, which again, the situation seems to be a uncommanded discharge from his weapon, which, I'm like, oh, did he pick the P320 on purpose? Maybe. I don't know. I wonder what state the gun was in when it was in his holster. We'll see. The investigate. I forget exactly which office is handling that investigation, but I know it's half Fed, half state. But it's definitely not going to go in the way the state wants it to go.
Certainly not anymore.
Yeah. Seriously. But the point is that at the end of the day, it's like, he got shot because there was an uncommanded discharge, and everybody was like, "Oh fuck,"
Not to mention they all have their whistles out. They're making such a ruckus. It's next to impossible for the officers to hear what's going on. So as soon as someone says gun, like, it was just going to accelerate. Like,
well, even beyond that, it's simple fact of, like, I love whenever I see people, raise holy hell about this. It's like, dude, you go into a CCW class. Your one thing is you always indicate to law enforcement, I have a weapon.
Yeah.
If they ask to disarm you, you allow them to disarm you.
Yep.
And if you're under arrest, that is what it is.
Yep.
Sorry, you don't. And mind you, there's a bunch of anarcho types that will then be like, but, and it's like, no buts.
Yeah.
You let them take you to court. You let them show how much of a clown they are. And then you sue the pants off them.
Yeah.
Oh, boo-hoo, you got to go spend a few nights in jail. Oh, you walked away with a $500,000 fucking payday.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. If you don't collect $500,000 off of a fucking city or the feds, and hell with the feds, if you're not walking away with $1 million at least, you're you have a retarded lawyer.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Is like, no, let them make fools out of themselves, and then proceed. Like, for example, the situation with the fucking J6 defendants.
Yep.
All of them are suing the shit out of the fucking federal government.
As well, they should, especially the ones who got stuck in that DC jail, something out of the third world.
Yeah, but that's the point: is you let them arrest you, and then you sue the shit out of them later, and then you take those resources into making their life hell. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't this dumbass take from anarchos that will be like, oh, resist. It's like, no, let them fuck up.
Yep.
I'm going to walk away with a fucking payday, motherfuckers. I ain't retarded. Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, there's this whole misnomer that, oh, if they convict you, you can't sue them. And it's like, if the conviction's on is on bullshit, bogus charges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
That the people have sued the government like crazy before, and gotten the charges. Not only, what's the term when they get rid of charges that you've been convicted on? I forget what it's called.
Dismissal.
No, dismissal of charges is during a case. It's after a case. I forget what the term is called. And no, it's not an expungement. An expungement is just a removal from your record.
Yeah.
I forget what the term's called. But there's been cases previously where people have been convicted of some pretty fucking serious crimes, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And because of how the law enforcement either handled the case or some catastrophic cock up, it's like, oh, hey, I'm suing the fuck out of you. Remove this off my fucking shit. Just get rid of it. And also give me money. It's happened plenty before. And this whole idea that you can't do it, it's like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
But, hey, don't leave anything for a bunch of 2016 grifters.
Yeah.
I've actually started referring to as the 2016 commentariat. It's like,
it does seem to be a good way of describing them.
Yeah, it's like the 2016 commentariat. They're a bunch of fucking grifters.
Interesting to see that. Yeah. Well, we got the Epstein files has continued to amaze and delight lots of people. Like, it's crazy to see what's coming out of the files of the one guy, like and all the Podesta stuff with 4chan, realizing what the terms were for chomos, and apparently they were going through the Podesta emails because they're 4chan guys, and they're saying, why aren't they all using the same, John and his brother and all these other people using the same terms we would use to do these things? And then Epstein had a program that was going through like the Urban Dictionary and deleting all the pizza references after the Podesta emails got released. I was like, holy crap, this guy's into everything. Helped create AI, for crying out loud. What is this? What is this thing?
Well, okay, so just to explain, when you have to understand the tendrils. So Epstein was involved with, if I remember correctly, it was eight major venture capital groups. And when you have that many fingers and that many pies, you're going to be involved in fucking everything. Yeah. Like, for example, I look at the situation with Lutnick and Lesnar. Lexner, sorry. I always say Lesnar. I meant Lexner. I look at the situation with those two, and it's like, at the end of the fucking day, like, the majority of their connections were involved with venture capital. Right. Almost across the board. Now, Lutnick was a little closer to Epstein, but that's because a lot of what yeah, it's like there was a proximity that existed. So it's like, yeah, okay, congratulations. And also, by the way, these guys had massive business deals with each other. Like, are you just going to cut? Are you gonna cut your nose to spite your face when it comes to business? Yeah. Like Trump, of course, didn't have the same connections to Epstein the way these guys did. Yeah. When it came to business. So, of course, Trump is free to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fucking inform on this guy. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that I fucking take this bastard down. Yeah. It's a totally different fucking scenario. And does that mean Lutnick and Lexner are bad people? That's a moral quandary for you to fucking decide on. But that's on your personal level. On a legal level, there's no legal basis to go after them at all. There's a reason why the Congress can't move against them. Yeah. That's why they're trying desperately to find shit to go after them on.
Mhm.
And it's like at the end of the fucking day, that was another thing that me and my brother got into. It's like, dude, like Lexner literally, it was business.
Yeah.
It was fucking business. Like, I don't know if you know this, Dave, but venture capital is very, very loose and fancy.
Yep.
They throw money anywhere and everywhere. They cast
Oh, yeah.
as wide of a fucking net as possible in order to be able to make money.
Yep.
So
We actually had a TV show in Canada called Traders, which was like what happens in Canada is we'll make a TV show within with the expectation that will run 5 to 7 seasons so we can get the syndication deal. And that's been going on in Canada for a long time. And so this show was one of those ones, but it gave us, me as a teenager, a lot of understanding of the global financial markets that I was going to get from just watching the news.
Oh, well, at the end of the day, one of the things you end up realizing is that, all of this stuff, it's all in the open. Most people are like, oh, they're doing shady deals down on the docks and shit like that. And it's like all this shit's out in the open, bud.
Yeah.
It's all apparent. There's a reason why Lutnick and fucking Lexner and fucking Trump had made the statement. Oh, everybody knew.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody fucking knew. Because if you were in those circles, you just fucking knew. So it's like at the end of the fucking day, and this is the problem, like me, for example, I personally, like, people are like, oh, I find rich people insufferable. And I'm like, dude, most of them are just fucking, they're just people.
Yeah.
They're just people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. They might have some retarded, like very, very naive takes on some things, depending on the type of rich they are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, they're just people, at the end of the day. Like I worked in a restaurant where it was not uncommon to have multimillionaires walk in, on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't uncommon for families that have, two of my coworkers worked there. They were part of one of the richest families in the state.
Hmm.
They were two of the grandkids.
Yep.
One of them is currently out in Colorado, living life because he's working for his family's media company. They used to be farmers. Yeah, they ran. It was something like 90% of their crop fulfilled the entire demand for garlic in the state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And then they exported the rest, which, it was considered some of the best garlic in the country.
Yes, I remember your discussion on garlic last week.
Oh, yeah. Again, at the end of the fucking day, it's like, I've been around these people plenty. Like the whole like, oh, they're just a bunch of insufferable, evil people, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, no. If anything, some of them are retarded because they didn't pay attention enough in school. It's usually the kids, and then they realize, like, oh shit, I am retarded, and then they get private tutors in their 20s.
Yeah, my one friend, he's very on left and very anti, billionaire or whatever. And another friend of mine, he belongs to a club in Toronto. I belong to the social club in Hamilton. And he said one time he went to the lefty guy and said, "Oh, yeah, I had a very strange encounter at my club. There are these two guys, and one of them says, it's my job to make Dave's life bad this week." And I thought that's strange. I'm like, you mean this guy from Hamilton? Oh, yeah, I have orders. It's his turn. He's up for being made miserable for this week, and I got to figure out how to do it.
What the fuck? But no, like at the end of the fucking day, it's like, yeah, no, the hate of rich people is hilarious to me because it's like, oh, I'm gonna hate this person because I don't have what they have. You know what's funny, Dave? I work in private security. And in the state of Ohio, there are certain certifications that you have in order to work certain jobs.
Right.
Well, the average, there's this whole statistic. The average security guard makes $19 an hour in the state of Ohio. And it's like, I make $3 more than that. And I know plenty of jobs that, the average is around 19 for basic jobs.
Yeah.
Like all the stupid little, unarmed positions. Yeah, they're paying like $16 an hour.
Yeah.
But nobody's fucking working them.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you see the postings on fucking Indeed like you do.
Yeah.
But the average armed position, if you're not making $18, $15, $19, $20 an hour, like your company doesn't give a fuck. They're fucking you over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on getting my certification as a 124 officer so that, it allows me to commission as a reserve officer within a police force or whatever. It's all the legal bullshit. It's basically the section of the police academy where it's all legal bullshit. That's what the 124 is.
Yeah.
And immediately, like I've got a former boss of mine. He starts his 124 guys out at $35 an hour. And the average contract that he signs for his 124s, it ranges around 45 to 55. So in reality, like for me personally, like once I get my 124 later this year, that's the plan that I've got so far. Once I get my 124, I'm looking at potentially doubling my income next year. On top of creating a situation where it's like, oh wait, my overall expenditure isn't going to really increase. So all of a sudden I'm going to be floating $30,000 to $40,000 a year. And it creates a situation where it's like, oh, I can start doing things.
Right.
I've already got several plays in the making right now to the point where it's like, oh yeah, I could be making conservatively $250,000 within 2-3 years a year. Nice. Conservatively. And that's only if I play it, cautiously.
Yeah.
If I go forth at all and actually try to push the limit, probably be making $500,000.
There you go.
It's like, guys, the money's out there. It's easy. You just got to be putting in the work. You actually got to be looking to identify certain things. Not sitting on your laurels. But hey, you know what? People are people.
Yeah. No, I have several options. I was planning on traveling, but I also have the fact that a buddy of mine has a decent chance of running for mayor and winning here. So he has offered me a position on his team. So there's also that this summer.
Oh, there you go. Actually, funny you say that. One of the guys we're trying to knuckle down the schedule. He's dealing with some health issues right now. One of the guys that he's running for federal Senate this time.
Okay.
And he's out in Oregon, and he's running for federal Senate.
Okay.
He ran for a position, got 2% of the vote. Okay. At a local level. Ran on a state level position, got 4 to 5% of the vote. I forget what he said. And then his mindset is that it's like, hey, it's a name recognition thing.
Yeah.
And so he said, fuck it. I'm going to run for a Senate, for a federal level position. And just try to get my name in front of as many fucking people as I can. Because he doesn't have a budget to really speak of.
Right.
He doesn't really have a team.
Well, there was that guy who got himself elected state senator in what was it, New Jersey, and all he did was door knock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. But the point is that at the end of the day, it's like, oh, you keep doing what you're doing, bud. Maybe just maybe, you get that local level position.
Yeah.
And then you get that state level position. And then you play around in the state for a little bit and actually get start affecting change.
Right.
And that's also that's a fun thing for me is that like I've had multiple people ask me within the past couple years, like, why are you not in politics?
Mm.
And I'm like, because I want to be the silent hand. Personally speaking, I don't want to be the guy fucking trying to sit there making deals and shit like that. It's like, no, I'll find somebody to do that for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the guy that's in the background that's doing the business side of things. And then I'll just throw money at this guy to help support from that side of things. Because it's like, no, why do that when I can do so much more in the private sector?
Yeah. No, I'm involved in politics here. I'm like the RNC county chair, both federally and provincially, but we're in normally we would not have done, we normally lose, but because of the NDP split here, we came in margin into the air federally, which was shocking. Like we were only 3 points away from getting a seat in one of what was once considered probably the most safest NDP seat in Ontario.
Well, there you go. There you fucking go. And again, it's one of those things where I have the position of I want to be the silent hand. I want to be backing people with the express purpose of pushing my own agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the funny part is my agenda is maliciously pro-US.
Yeah.
Like it's maliciously pro-US. It's like, no, fuck you. We're going to do this. We're going to do this and we're going to do it fucking right. And I don't give a shit who I have to step on in order to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of in terms of mentality, I'm the guy that they don't want having money from the perspective of like, oh, this guy's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I look at Chuck Grassley over in Nebraska, for example, and it's like, oh, I would run you over. Be like, nope, farmers, you're going to get back to actually having to compete in the market.
Right.
You're going to get back to actually producing shit that we need rather than just licking up these fucking subsidies.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of the waterways, because one of the things, you know, so my dad and myself and a couple other family members want to get a particular industry going in Southern Ohio. And I pointed out, I'm like, hey, you do realize that we could, if we could get to the point where we're ordering large enough quantities of shit, we could barge it. And my dad, of course, you know, not having an idea of America's waterways, he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, bro, the Mississippi River Delta connects to the fucking Great Lakes. We could be pulling stuff from fucking Canada. We could be pulling stuff from the interior of the United States, and we could have it going by boat to our location easily. Supporting the waterways is one of my, like, I've been on that fucking bandwagon for a while now, where it's like, hey, why aren't we using the Mississippi River Delta nearly as much as we were?
Yeah.
Barge traffic is slowed to a fucking crawl. And it's like, we don't have enough fucking truck drivers. We don't have enough we shouldn't be shipping truckloads of certain things. You know, our freight lines are finally getting some love. Thank God. Thank freaking God. But it's like, why aren't we using the other third option we have? Because mind you, you know, there is a couple companies on the Ohio River, you know, I'm specifically referring to the Ohio River. There are a couple companies on the Ohio River that do use the Ohio River. Yep. And they save a shit ton of money doing it.
Oh, yeah. One of the reasons why America has succeeded as well as it has been the use of all the rivers provided to it. And Europe was also in a similar boat because it had all the rivers, because that just drops the cost of transportation. Peter Zeehan is not completely useless.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's why I'm like, you know what, I will acknowledge that you have some good points. I still think that you're a fucking twat, but hey, you know, it is what it is.
I think we had the discussion before, basically, that Zian, he's got to sell his books, and that's
Yep.
his business
Yep.
model. And so
Yep.
he's got to tell people what they want to hear.
Yeah. But no, it's like, again, America's waterways are so fucking important. It's unreal. And I like, me personally, I've had a bit of a pet project that I've wanted to pursue for a while.
Mhm.
And that pet project is pushing reopening and sizing up the Ohio Erie Canal.
Mhm.
And I've had a few people who I've had that discussion with who have been like, you can't do it, you know, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, what if somebody just says, fuck it,
Mhm.
we ball? And basically the mentality from everybody was like, oh God, he's actually going to fucking try to do this at some point in time. And I'm like, yeah, no, fuck you. I would love to see fucking barges going down the Ohio Erie Canal again.
Yep.
I would love to see that shit. Just from the perspective of, it's like, you know what? Actually revitalize, because at the end of the day, it's like just relying on trucks and train is not viable.
Yeah.
Bulk raw material, for example, you can do a lot of it on train, but you can't do any of it on truck. The trucks don't carry enough.
Yeah.
They just don't. So fuck that. I'm going to do it by boat, because if I can't do it by train, I'm going to do it by boat.
I think we're going to see a real revitalization of domestic barges in the United States and some in Canada.
Well, shit. I'm just gonna say this: if things get to the point where I think they're going, yeah, no, the Canadians are not going to like us very soon if we start imposing our will over the Great Lakes. But you know, that will take some time, and you know, the eventual clearing of Chicago. But you know, that's a different discussion all of itself.
Yeah, I hear the people in Chicago are pissed off. The Bears are leaving. They're going to Indiana or something like that, even though it's only 20 miles down the road. Apparently, they're all freaking out. But I'm like, why would you build a stadium in Illinois when it costs, like, the taxes are too damn high?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. See, this is actually the funny thing for me is, so when my dad took over his shop that he has now, you know, he was the only shop in town. He's the only shop in basically 30 to 40 mile radius, 50-mile radius. He services such a large fucking area just out of his one shop. It's insane. You know, his first month, he pulls $15,000 in revenue.
Yeah.
This is a small shop in the middle of a small city that, you know, mind you, this city it's known for a lot of good things. It's actually really funny for me because there's you know what HFY is?
No.
I forget what the Y stands for, but HF stands for Humanity First.
Okay.
Basically, stories that are like told from a humanity first perspective.
Yeah.
And the one story in question that I'm thinking of, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but one of the main characters' love interest is from the city that my dad lives in now. And it's funny because like the person who wrote the story in question went into autistic detail about how much glass this city produces or has produced, and the fact that humanity, fuck yeah, okay, that's what things were. Okay, I thought it was humanity first. My bad.
Yep.
But yeah, no, but no, like it goes into autistic detail, and it's like, oh god, this person actually studied Cambridge. Holy shit, that's impressive. Because Cambridge used to be a fucking big industrial city.
Yeah,
It used to, before Ball was a thing, Cambridge glass was what supplied people their fucking glass. And mind you, I think we had 3 or 4 glass mills just in that city.
Yep.
And, Stoner, I see you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Guess where we got the materials for the glass? Came out of North and South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, it's like, looking at the US and finding the good and then realizing like, hey, this can be fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can fucking do some shit with this. So yeah, it's just one of those things.
Reindustrialization will be great, and we're going to be seeing the fracturing of the trade routes. I don't know if you heard what Tommy Callis said the other day at the Munich Security Conference. In order to fund their rearming of Europe, they're going to take 15% of everyone's savings out of their bank accounts and their pension funds.
Yes, I am aware of that. The fun part about that, and this is going to be very unfortunate for the European governments as a whole. They are not going to enjoy the response that brings. Oh, wait, we've already seen that response start.
Yeah.
I had the Scottish portion of my family. I don't know if I mentioned this before.
Yeah, they moved and became ranchers.
Yeah, Texas. And they bailed from the UK because of all the bullshit. And they were like, nope. And then they got here and they're like, oh shit, like this is great business wise. Holy shit, this is amazing. And they're just gonna again, the microcosm that we see in New York. You're gonna continue seeing that out of the UK, out of the EU.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh no, oh well, so sad. This is terrible for you.
Yeah.
Hey, just letting you know, but over there, we've got a factory over there already. So go over there and build your factory. It's like, oh no, we don't care. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's just sometimes it's just hard dealing with a lot of people who've been so programmed into believing things that are fundamentally not in their best interest. Well, I never want to say in their best interest because someone once said, these people are voting against their best interest. And I'm like, what do you know what their best interest is? But it's just so funny to deal with people who've been so programmed. They're like, I was talking to this guy last night and he was complaining about the 66 organizations that they pulled out of. And I'm like, why do you want all these organizations to have diplomatic immunity? Don't you think that's a source of corruption?
Yeah.
Why are you so welded with free trade? Like, why do you think these things? And it's because they've never had a reason to think of something else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's also this is the fun part for me. The European mind cannot comprehend the world without the Marshall Plan.
Yeah.
They can't, because the Marshall Plan was supposed to stay in perpetuity. Mm-hmm. The US was supposed to act as a blood bag for the EU mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the Marshall Plan's gone and they don't know how to they don't know what to do. They were never able to conceive of a world where they did not have their gravy train. Yeah. And so now they're like, oh, we're just going to take money from our people. And I'm like, oh, that's going to go over real well.
Yeah.
Good luck. Have fun. Hope you don't end up on the lamppost.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it Tom's line? I'm long guillotines and rope. And I can't remember the third thing.
Oh, long guillotines, rope makers, and crap. What is the third thing?
Yeah, I never remember, but I just say
that's rope makers and guillotines.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him at all. It's actually really funny. I got berated in a in a space one time because I made reference to that statement.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that because if you say that, then they're going to use it against us and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh no. So bad. Egads. Like, I literally was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
like what are they gonna do? They're gonna kill me. Oh, guess what? They're trying to kill me anyways. Like,
Right.
why would I care at that point in time?
Mm.
Like, excuse me, here's your express delivery of lead poisoning for the day. Like, congratulations.
Yeah, it's like the rationalists versus the empiricists. And I've always liked to describe rationalists are the Jews in Germany who said the Nazis are never going to wipe out their own slave force. And the empiricists were the Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto who said, if I'm going down, I'm taking at least one of these bastards with me.
Yeah. No, and that's the whole thing is like at the end of the day, it's like this mentality. And this is something this is how you're able to pick 2016ers out of the crowd as well. Is when they do that whole pivot of, you know, oh, we can't say that, we can't do this, you know, so on and so forth. And it's like, excuse me, no, fuck you. Like we're not doing this. We're standing up and we're saying fuck you. And if the 2016ers can't get on board with that, well, then I'm going to suspect they work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Candace Owens, I'm looking at you.
She did marry a British lord.
Yeah. That's the point. That's the whole point. And what's even more funny about that, personally speaking, for me, is when I found that out, and then I found out that it was the royal jeweler. Get his name off the Mappin.
Okay.
When I found out that Mappin was the one that introduced him and her, I'm like, oh shit, Mappin's in on this bullshit. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, now I understand why Elizabeth didn't like his fucking ass. Now I understand. It gave me so much more context into the royal family as a whole. I'm like, why does Elizabeth hate this guy so much? Oh, that's why. He's a little traitor.
Yeah.
He's a little Praetorian. Okay, got it.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of interesting, all these different groups out there. And of course, now we have the latest abdication crisis. I heard a little bit yesterday on my channel, just watching like the fact. Well, it matters to me as a Canadian, and it's kind of hard for us to get rid of them because in order to get rid of the monarchy, we'd have to abolish a lot of stuff. We'd have to open up the Constitution, and no Canadian politician wants to do that after it nearly shattered the country in the 80s and 90s.
Oh Lord. It's amusing. The world is amusing, and all the people who bitch and whine and cry the hardest, I just view them in the light that they are. Anyways, but I do apologize cutting it a little short. However, my daughter is losing her shit in the background, so I'm gonna go handle her.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll close out for you.
You guys have a good one. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yep, bye. And yeah, so that was just kind of discussion we like to have here on the Spyguy channel. And then I like the fact that I got we're closing out with 5 viewers, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you guys like this kind of stuff, like, share, subscribe, share it on your social medias. That's what I'm going to do after the stream. I'll put this out on my Twitter at Karen Taub and just go on with that. So it's been great hanging out with you, but I also have a couple of errands I should get around to doing. I got my birthday party tomorrow, so I got to get some preparations done. Okay, well, it's been nice spending the afternoon with you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.